What is up, friends? I'm out in the yard. I'm doing some workout. I'm working out and I'm doing some PT. PT for what? Rehabbing my foot. I injured it. It's a long story, but I wanted to show you some of the exercise I'm doing because it's so simple. It's like a non-factor, but it's really effective, and it might be so simple you're not thinking of it. And that is just walking around on your toes. Now, I always say in my classes, for example, that unless you are a ballerina, okay, and you need to come up on the very tiptoe, or worse yet, on the crux of the metatarsal, right, where those bones come together, that's just not a natural place to bear a lot of weight for a long period of time, which is why I ask those ballerinas how their feet feel. Okay? And it's a sport, it's a beautiful sport, it's incredible athleticism, but there's a lot of trade offs. Just like in any sport, things taken to an extreme start to have less benefit, more consequences. So instead, today, we're going to stay on more the pads of the big foot, but very important, we're going to be driving down with the toes so that when I'm on the ball of my foot and I'm sort of staying back, I'm keeping it at a pretty shallow range of motion. Shallow meaning the heel, okay, not super high, because I'm on concrete and I have a sensitive foot and I want to get that right sweet spot of training and strengthening, not re-injuring. Okay, steps forward, not back. Except, pun intended, we might actually walk backwards, but that's separate. Okay, so pushing through the toes, lifting the heel, and then settling into a place where you can feel light and springy. And although you can't see it, I don't think you can see it. I can't see it when I look, and I'm hoping I'm sort of in the screen and approximately aligned, right? I don't think you can see it, but the toes continue to drive down into the floor no matter what the heel is doing, okay? So we're gonna just walk around like this. If it weren't so awkward, I would carry you. I might at the end. Maybe we can see my feet from the aerial view. But I'm just gonna walk laps in my garden like this. Okay, here I go. Now, of course, you can also walk backwards, which is great for your balance, especially staying on your toes, because as you walk backwards, your foot, your body rather, is looking for that heel contact into the floor. That's why in my classes I always say when you take a step back, you never land heel first. Walking normally, we land heel first. Going forward, we land heel first. But walking backwards, we land toe first to be able to regulate and buy some time for our balance and body control to lower down. It's also very strengthening for your feet. In this instance, walking backwards without letting the heel down, also super strengthening for the feet. Play with it, put on a song, go back and forth, right? And just see how long. Build some endurance. Oh my God, I gotta come back and talk to you. Build some endurance, especially if you wanna run on those bare feet. If you cannot walk on your releve, or your relative releve is what I was gonna say, right? Relatively lifted, then how do you expect to be able to land to toe strike, right? Basically, to forefoot strike. Not that everyone does forefoot land or strike when they're running, even in their optimized mechanics. It's not right for everyone. Actually, a pretty small percentage of people for whom it's thought to be mechanically optimal, okay? So that aside, it's still a lot more impact on your feet. Even if you are heel striking as you run, you want your foot to be strong enough to then push the heel off the ground. So I'm really trying to challenge myself and make this whole video without my heels landing. Blah, blah, blah. I could say more about that. But I might put on a song, and most songs are 4-ish, 5 minutes, right? So, and you can do height level changes, right? Come up and down through some squats, yes. Keep it simple. I like exercise that's not complicated, but that's really effective and challenging. The easier it is to challenge myself without having it be like, oh, a lot of setup and a lot to think about, the better. There's a time and place for it being very brain active, right? A lot of exercise that's like neurologically interesting and challenging. I love using music for that, etc. But for the most part, I'm just like, just keep it simple. I don't want to have to set up a whole like pulley system, etc. to train my foot. So I have a specific video in mind, which is why I'm ranting about that. Okay, with that in mind, guys, pull up on those toes. Work those calves.
Give me some good firepower. I want to see some smoke coming out of the floor. As you're doing them, everything is lit up. Nothing hurts. If something hurts, it's not for you, okay? Don't stay on those toes so long that you get shearing pain under your feet. No sharp fascial pain, no nerve pain, okay? Especially between the metatarsal heads, which is vulnerable. It is vulnerable to overly splaying, getting pressure up on those nerves. If you have metatarsal pain, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't want to know, okay? Don't go there. Toes engaging the floor, actively lifting the arch. Make your choice.